Hi everyone, welcome back to the episode of Ask Dr. Nick. My name is Dr. Nick Schmilkoffer and I work for the Neurologic Wellness Institute. And on today's episode, we're going to answer the question, how does neuro-rehab work for post-concussion syndrome? And I think this is a really important one because we see a lot of concussion patients here in our clinic, and it is asked a lot, like, how does this stuff work? How is my brain going to change to improve my symptoms that I got from a concussion 1 year ago, 6 months ago, 5, 10 years ago even? And it's all based on neuroplasticity. But with neuroplasticity, we have to get blood flow to the areas of the brain that are working at an adequate rate. And so it really all comes back to getting blood flow, and getting blood flow to the different areas of the brain are going to lead to more oxygen for that brain cell, more energy in the form of glucose or ketone bodies if we're on a ketogenic diet. And then by getting those nutrients to the cell can have, because brain cells, neurons have a lot of high metabolic capacity. It's constantly working at all times. But when you're trying to do things like either cognitive tasks, when you're trying to walk and think at the same time, when you're trying to do work on a computer, when you're trying to run, we need to get blood flow to those different areas in the brain, and sometimes multiple areas in the brain. And what can happen is blood flow isn't going to those specific areas well enough. There's almost like this block, like there's road construction, and rather than having 3 or 4 lane highways of getting blood flow, you only have 1 lane, and so it's just not getting enough oxygen there. And therefore, then the cells aren't able to communicate along those highways as well. So the neurons that send signals have also this slowed down block, this, again, road construction happening. And so by getting blood flow to those areas, we can help to heal, we can change genetic expression, we can improve healing of those brain areas to make them functionally more efficient. And functionally more efficient takes away symptoms. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this paper here. So let's get right to the paper. It is in the article of Journal of Neurology and Neurophysiology. It's called Neurovascular Coupling. Basically, neurovascular, so neuron and vascular system, so blood flow, coupling. So it's how we are using certain neurons in the brain and how we have to get the blood flow to go there, and that coupling mechanism is how we can improve brain function, and when it's deficient, why it goes wrong and why you have symptoms of cognitive issues, brain fog, balance issues, headaches, what you name it. So again, neurovascular coupling, a unifying theory for post-concussion syndrome treatment and functional neuroimaging. So it's by Epps and Allen, Epps works at the Cognitive FX, which is in Utah. It is a clinic that does work with post-concussion patients for cognition. And so they do a lot of great work, similar to what we do as well in our clinic. Again, it's from 2017. If we look quickly through the abstract, just basically showing how post-concussion syndrome occurs in a significant amount of concussion patients. It's about 20 to 25%. And it's generally a persistence of 3 or more symptoms. On functional MRIs, it often reveals these irregularities of blood oxygen level. Okay, so basically, even though part of the brain's working, you're not getting enough blood to go there. And so the treatment approach they use at Cognitive FX is called EPIC, Enhanced Performance in Cognition, which has strong clinical success. And so they basically describe this dysregulation of neurovascular coupling, or NVC, basically disruptions in the cerebrovascular reactivity. So what that means is basically the blood vessels in the cerebrum, in the brain, are not reactivating to get blood flow to the areas that are working in the brain. And this involves autonomic nervous system dysregulation, so imbalances in that sympathetic fight or flight or parasympathetic rest and digest system. And so by targeting these areas, that can improve symptomatology. So again, in this theory, they focus on intense repetitive neurocognitive challenges during post-exercise cognitive boost, with the avoidance of the intracerebral steal in the setting of restoring and then re-regulating this cerebrovascular reactivity, and the autonomic nervous system. So we're going to describe what that means here. So let's go right to the first picture or figure they have. They have the pathological state of post-concussion syndrome. Basically, a concussion causes an injury, which leads to damage maybe to the vessels leading to the brain, but also damage to the neurons. Damage to the neurons can lead to autonomic dysregulation, this neurovascular coupling dysregulation, which leads to more sympathetic fight or flight outflow, more cerebral dysautoregulation. So again, not pairing that what brain area is working to getting blood flow there. And that can lead to global cerebral blood flow being decreased. At the same time, what can lead to global cerebral blood flow being decreased is this damage to the vessels, which again leads to this cerebrovascular reactivity disruption. So basically, lack of blood flow in general, and basically blood flow not getting to the specific areas that are working. Also, neuronal damage can lead to this neurovascular coupling dysregulation, what we just talked about. So a decrease in regional blood flow and this intracerebral steal. So basically what's happening is blood flow might be going to the entire brain versus going to specific areas that are meant to be working for a specific task, whether that just be a cognitive task or picking up a pen or writing. And we have to be able to get blood flow to each of these areas individually, but then all together as well. And so then what happens is it leads to this poor blood flow there, and then so now the neurons aren't recovering well, and when they don't recover, that leads to more neuronal damage. So it's this like vicious loop of going around where we're not getting blood flow to the areas that need it, and then those areas are trying to work and they crash really quickly. And this is why people can crash very quickly after a concussion when they just do a simple task that normal people or they would normally be able to accomplish. So then if we look at this EPIC treatment and how it targets these different areas, it targets the cerebrovascular reactivity disruption, the autonomic nervous system dysregulation, and the neurovascular coupling. Okay, all this is showing is that EPIC treatment is basically doing a exercise, a physical activity like walking, jogging, running, to get a lot of blood flow into the brain, and then doing cognitive tasks while you have this extra blood flow. Again, sorry for this being really small, but aerobic exercise, spinal mobility, deep lymph node massage, or increasing lymphatic clearance can help with this cerebrovascular disruption. The autonomic nervous system, again, doing some neuromuscular therapy, some breathing exercises, some aerobic exercise can help improve that. The doing sustained aerobic exercise, again, same thing. Then doing a neurocognitive challenge can help disrupt or improve this dysregulation of the neurovascular coupling. Again, with the intracerebral steal, decreasing neural activity in areas that have normal neurovascular coupling to treatment to decrease shunting. So basically doing balance exercises with like postural muscle strength exercises while we're doing maybe a noise sensitivity or a light sensitivity test. And so this is again how neuro-rehab can then help improve these aspects of neurovascular coupling. And so if we just look at the picture they have here, they kind of show that, so here is a blood vessel that is carrying red blood cells, and then here is a neuron that's attaching to another neuron. Here is a glial cell that basically has to connect and help improve the overall electrolyte balance in this connection. And so when you have more exercise, you increase vasodilation. So you open up the blood vessels, you create more blood flow to the area. And then you're allowed to then activate these neurons to then improve the overall functioning of that area. Okay. In this blood vessel, again, this is an astrocyte that is going around the blood vessel, so it's helping improve that neurovascular coupling. And so you're also getting increase in like brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps with neuroplasticity. You're getting other areas like VEGF, which is going to help increase more blood vessels to the area to help with healing. So Again, I like this picture just because it shows what we're doing with this neurovascular coupling, how improving the vascular system, improving the blood flow can help with the neurons itself that aren't working in specific areas in the brain. So to summarize, basically neurovascular coupling is just working on different areas in the brain that aren't working as well. And how we're going to do that is use areas in the brain that are working better to activate the ones that are not working as well. By doing that, we do it to a certain threshold to get blood flow there. And blood flow is going to help get oxygen and nutrients there to help to change the neuron, cause neuroplasticity, basically improve genetic expression so that it can make proteins to help with healing. It can make more enzymes. It can stabilize the membranes of the neuron to then improve its output or signaling. And when we improve the output and signaling over a long term, that decreases symptoms because it makes the brain more efficient. And so it's all about getting blood flow to the areas of the brain that need to be healed through this like graded exercise system. And as we can get better, we can basically push the system more and more and more to, again, push the body to then have better healing so that we can have patients doing what they want to do for the rest of their life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's basically what we do every day. It's the basis to what we do every day. If you have any questions, please leave them below. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them as well. If you have any suggestions for future topics, please, again, leave them below. So thanks again. Have a great day and stay healthy.